Chase, everyone over the jet lag and the travel and pulled up okay?
Yeah, good. Nice and sharp this morning, and great to be here and enjoying some nice weather, that's for sure. It's a bit of a change up from home.
How do you approach this week? Is it a bit of a juggling act between maybe giving guys opportunities but also trying to continue with the rhythm that you've built this year?
No, it's no juggling act. We'll just pick our best team available, and we'll do that. We're looking forward to a good physical contest against the Springboks. It's exactly what we need heading into our first game.
I was going to say that the Boks is a treasured rivalry for this group. You've obviously seen them once already this year, but how important is it to get that kind of marker, I suppose, before you go into the big one against France?
Yeah, we've already had a few markers, which I think we've ticked off. We've still got a few areas we want to work on, as we do every week, but just get through the game and be really competitive and physical when we need to.
Coach, do you take anything out of the last match against the Springboks?
No, nothing really. Look, they played well yesterday, and their confidence will be up as well. So, yeah, we'll prepare accordingly.
What did you make of? Sorry, I was going to say a question. What did you make of that game yesterday? Did you learn much?
Yeah, they played well. I thought they played some good shape and run away with the game in the end there. They're definitely using the ball really well.
Jace, there's been injuries and suspensions in these World Cup sort of prelim warm-up games, whatever you want to call them. Is that heightened any anxiety for you guys around those things?
No, I think you're always going to get injuries. Your squad's always going to get tested. So, you've got to make sure that your selections and the team you pick are, got guys that can cover multiple positions, which we feel we have. And the card side of it, there's been a lot of cards clearly, but the rules are pretty obvious, aren't they? So, just got to stay away from the head.
And in terms of the squad, obviously Shannon Frizzell, Brady Retallick working their way back. How's everyone else, Bowden and his Achilles and whatnot?
Yeah, they're all good. Nothing's changed from when we left. Shannon and Guz aren't available for these 2 weeks.
Coach, you mentioned cards before. We saw another shoulder to the head on the weekend with Billy Vunipola against Ireland. Again, does that heighten just how the fine margins that are going on defence for you guys?
Sorry, what was your question?
Are you thinking more about how that's going to play a role in the upcoming matches?
You just got to get your tackle technique right. You got to live under the ball, and you still got to be dominant though.
Did you feel stuff like that warrants the sort of suspensions and that they're giving out?
Which one are you talking about? You got to put it all in context for me.
Sorry, we had two in quick succession. Farrell's one and then Vunipola's one, and it looks like there might be a bit of discrepancy between the way that they're going to get adjudicated. Do you have any feelings about that?
Oh, World Rugby got to make that decision. They've made it pretty clear from the start around head contacts, so make the rulings consistent.
Sia Khaleesi was back for the Boks yesterday, and might play a role obviously on Friday. How important is someone like him to that team?
He's a real spiritual leader, isn't he? And great to see him back out there, to be fair, and what's probably potentially could be his last World Cup. And he's obviously put a lot of work in to get himself right, and it's a real credit to him.
How much does he elevate that Springboks team, both with spiritually as a player, but also as a leader?
Yeah, I think quite significantly. He's someone that they look to under pressure, and they get a lot of energy from him, and they've got a lot of trust in him as a captain, and he's also won a World Cup for them too, so I'd say a lot. Yeah.
How important are games like this ahead of the World Cup?
Yeah, every test match is important. Just to get through unscathed, no injuries would be handy, but it's a contact sport that we're in, but Springboks and Twickenham, pretty unique, so looking forward to that.
Do you have to be a wee bit careful in terms, not about injuries, you throw yourself into the game, but in terms of not showing too much tactically, strategically, 2 weeks out from the World Cup?
We just got to have a dominant mindset. If you're hesitant in anything you do, well, that's when your injuries happen. So that's how we're going to prepare. We've showed plenty of our game, and as other teams have, there's 8 views per game, so everyone's having a good look. You just still got to get those momentum shifts and those big pressure moments, which I think are quite important in test matches, especially this time of year, heading into that World Cup, which is right here now pretty much.
Did you feel a change now that you're here on the ground? There was a lot of games yesterday. Is it starting to feel a little bit more real? The World Cup's here and you're in the right part of the world now.
Yeah, we are. I think it's come around quite quick, but what I thought with yesterday, I just didn't think teams showed too much. But it's going to change pretty quick. But I think it's going to be a great World Cup in France. But to all due respect, we actually haven't talked about the World Cup today. We've been really mindful that we just talk about Springboks, because otherwise we'll get too far ahead of ourselves.
So the eyes of the world will be watching in 2 weeks in France. But do you feel like you've slipped into town unnoticed to a point with the Women's World Cup on and just out here in this part of the world?
Yeah, well, yep. Yeah, we've only been here a night, so we only got up this morning and had our first training. But obviously, the week you get built and the hype around the Test match will get elevated as we get close to the game. I'm sure. I think they've sold it out. So
yeah, how strange is that going to be? I guess playing a Test against the Boks at Twickenham as opposed to Ellis Park or Eden Park.
Oh, I don't know if it'd be strange. I think it's a ground that's got a lot of history, and so have both teams. So it all adds to it. I think both teams need good hit out before their first game of the season, so of the World Cup season. So it's exciting.
Yeah, obviously had a good season to date. What sort of specific areas of improvement you're still looking to tap into?
I think there's some good. The season to date is, it's been okay, but it's actually relevant now. The Rugby Championship with Bledisloe, it's nothing more than a good memory, really. This World Cup, we've got to keep evolving our game. Tradition shows that the team that evolves their game the most will hold the trophy up. But I think there's some good areas around our breakdown we can keep working on, and I think defensively we're making some good progress as well.
We're about to chat to David. What have you seen from him? Obviously, a guy that hasn't been part of the group this year due to injury, but comes back in. What have you seen from David since he's come back into the group?
Oh, one thing about Davey, he just chips. He just chips away every day and just keeps building. He puts a lot of pride in his body, and he's the ultimate professional, ultimate team man, and it's a real credit to him of how hard he's worked away at it, but he's just chipped every day.
Cool. Thanks, and
Cool.
Davey.
Cheers,
Right
guys.
here.